gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your co-host Rich, alongside me as always, my co-host Runz.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, I just want to remind you that we're brought to you in partnership with pwpotnerings.com, rohworld.com, and Last Word on ProWrestling.com. We're also featured on the Wrestling to the Max network. All right, so with all that out of the way, we have Battleground coming up this weekend. We have tons of illegitimate children stuff to talk about. And some, I guess, breaking news with Shane McMahon. You want to start off with that? It's a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just talk about it since it literally just happened, basically in our backyard. Not that I would have enjoyed seeing a helicopter fall out of the sky, but like if I would have seen it and then found out it was Shane McMahon, I think that would have been pretty cool. But anyway, the fact that, you know, it landed in the water, everything was okay. Everyone was fine, but man, that's got to be pretty crazy. And like, it's crazy in the moment, of course, but like afterwards, like how do you ever get on an aircraft again? Like I don't know, that's crazy.
Well, first of all, I mean, okay, so I'm driving, and all I get is somebody texts me, Shane was in a helicopter crash, and then I get the link to the article, but it just like. So I have my iPhone and I've got the Waze, my driving app up. So all I see is these two things, and I'm like, oh my god, he just JFK Jr. Like he just fucking died. Like, and
instead he Ric Flair.
For 15 or 20 minutes before I got home, I'm actually sitting there like upset, and I'm like, oh my god, Shane McMahon is fucking dead. Like I'm losing it. All right, like I'm really getting kind of like, and I come in and my son's asleep in the car and I bring him in and I put him in the crib, and the first thing I did after that was I ran to the computer, and I'm like, oh thank God he's fine, and I almost wanted to curse the person out who sent it to me because I wanted to be like,
you could say he's not dead.
Yeah, like Shane's not dead, because I just thought, oh my God, this is terrible. What's gonna happen now? Like holy crap. But no, thank God, yeah, he's fine. But it's just crazy. By the way, dude's taking a fucking helicopter places. Good on him. I mean, that's you know what will never happen to you or me, ever.
Yeah, we'll never be in a personal helicopter crash.
Like that shit. Yo, the closest I ever feel to that,
unless it falls out of the sky and hits us, then that's the only way.
The closest I ever feel to this idea of like being so full of money is when I look at my driving app. And I check to see how long it will take me to get home without tolls, and it's like a 50-minute difference. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna use the toll because big dog status. But just the idea, like, hey, you know what? I need to go somewhere. Oh man, there's so much traffic. Let me hop in a helicopter. The only thing that rivals that is I once dated a girl who, and this is legit. We're going to the beach. We're stuck in traffic, and goes, you know what? If it's really bad, we're just going to turn around and have my dad drop us off at the beach with the boat. And I'm like, no, that's. I start laughing, right? Because that's not my life. And she's like, fuck this. 5 minutes later, just pulls a Yui in the middle of the highway, like crosses over the divider thing because it was just grass. And then, sure enough, we got on a fucking boat and we got dropped off at a beach. And I was like, this is not my life. Like this doesn't. People don't say, if I can't get to the beach because of traffic, I'm going to hop on a boat.
Right, and that was just a normal thing to her. That was her how she did things.
Imagine, like, that's Shane's life. It's just like, I'm just going to hop on a helicopter. Like, I'm good.
I mean, yeah, it's just regular.
But dude can't show up at a pay-per-view and be angry about the Money in the Bank in person, right? He's got to be somewhere else that night.
He's a busy man. He's flying around the world in helicopters. He's got to be doing something.
Obviously. All right. So with that, that's like our first real world news out of the way. A little different. What did you think about Monday Night Raw overall?
It was okay. The whole time I was just waiting to see what the hell happened with Kurt Angle, and I wasn't really disappointed. Like I don't know how to feel really. Like I was expecting something really crazy and out there, but instead I got something that makes a lot of sense and is actually very cool for Jason Jordan. So I'm a big fan of that. I really like Jason Jordan. I can't wait to see him on his own, but it was a strange feeling, you know.
Yeah, you know what? It reminded me of, I guess, like Attitude Era Raws, where if you watch the whole...
When there were illegitimate children.
Well, yeah, that too. But more along the lines of the fact that the whole show, and I think everybody watching it was just watching it, not... I mean, we watch it all the time, right? But I think that there was some hype about watching it because what's going to happen with Angle. And you had those era WWF Attitude Era shows where
right.
Go ahead.
No. Finish your thought.
Where it was like, I'm really just watching this to find out one thing, and everything else is gravy.
And it's not even a wrestling thing necessarily. You know, this was a GM with a personal storyline like that. It was just something that was intriguing. It you know, people may not like to hear this sort of thing, but like wrestling is a soap opera. So sometimes when you have those soap opera-ish storylines, you got to remember that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just didn't. You know, I wonder if they purposely did the. So wait, I'm trying to figure this out. Who did he say "I love you" to? He said "I love you" to Jordan.
Right, but what I don't understand is like, how does this affect his like career? How is this? You know what I mean? Like, the way they made it, they built it up, was kind of like, wait, I don't fully understand how that, makes sense, but I'm still not against it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's what it comes down to. Like no matter what, I'm a fan of the end result, so that's what matters. I'm a fan of what's possible to come. And people will complain that it's not Gable or whatever the case. But if it was Gable, then people would complain that Jordan is better and it should have been him. Either way, people are going to find something to complain about, right? So don't even forget about that. But Jason Jordan has always been the guy with more potential, the guy with the better look.
Oof. Okay.
Always. But, when they had the NXT thing, do you remember that documentary that they had when they showed like Jordan and Gable and, Jordan always had all the natural ability and that kind of thing, but he didn't find the character until he got with Gable. And once he did, boom. So even from that, they've always had big plans for him. So yes, maybe people didn't want to see American Alpha break up so early, I guess, but they've been together a long time. NXT, they were there for a while. They won the tag team titles on SmackDown. What the hell else were they going to do? I'm fine with both of them getting a nice singles run. It'll be good for both of them.
No, I'm fine with that too. I think... So, I guess, really, in this day and age of every guy that I like being attacked in a tag team, I am a fan of the fact that Jason Jordan didn't have to, be a jerk and be like everybody else and attack Gable.
Correct. You cannot fault him for, going and finding his biological father. I mean, that's...
No, that's fine. And I mean, by the way, I think my favorite thing about what happened was actually what I saw on Twitter. So first of all, I think the Young Bucks basically ended up saying that AJ was their dad.
AJ said he fathered Matt Jackson, and then 5 years later, Nick Jackson. Yeah,
and then wait, and he said he was. The best part was he listed his age when it happened. He was like, "I was 8 when I had Matt Jackson," and then 5 years later, so dude at 8 and 13 had 2 kids.
Social media really makes me love wrestling so much more because seeing these guys they're just boys. You know what I mean? It's always fun to see the kind of relationships these guys have out of the ring.
Joey Janela tweeted out that Virgil is his dad, which was, and then Virgil ended up, okay, so Joey Janela says, "I've been holding back a secret from everyone. I always settle everything here on Twitter, so here goes nothing." And he ats him. "The real Virgil is my father." Virgil quotes it and responds, "My son, nothing makes me more proud than knowing you will support me financially forever." Hashtag
Keep
white.
that fuck money.
Hashtag white person blessed.
Yeah,
Like,
he's the best. Virgil is fantastic.
And those are just like two people. I mean, some people are talking about like Marty Jannetty being their father.
I'm sure the internet ran wild with it.
Yeah, no, tons of people are just talking about who they're
have you have you seen like the picture of them like standing next to each other? They kind of have some similar features.
It is really weird.
Maybe that's just because like we're trying to picture them as father and son, but there is some weird resemblance there, and maybe that was the deciding factor. I can literally picture Vince looking at them and be like, wait, that's the guy? This guy looks like Angle. No, let's just use him. I could see that.
Poor Gable. I hope he didn't hear about that.
That would suck.
Did you
imagine that? No, you just don't look enough like the guy. Sorry.
Yo, so many people are tweeting a picture of Kurt Angle like laying on top of Shermel.
Oh my god, yeah, that was fantastic.
And it's like, this is who he came from.
That was great. I really enjoyed that.
Essentially, it made me want to pay attention to all of Raw because sometimes you don't know if these things are going to come at the end of the show. So that's something that I really I kind of liked about this episode. And had it not been for Game of Thrones starting Sunday night, I think I would have had much more anticipation all week. Right? We talked about it Monday morning, how basically we just wanted it to be Monday night so that we could watch and find out who it was. Honestly, if it had not been for Game of Thrones, I would have been just that crazy about wanting to find out.
Right, I completely agree with that. Like, besides the fact that I didn't watch Game of Thrones, it like all week I didn't really think about it, and then once Monday hit, and I was like, oh shit, we're gonna find out the result. I was super hyped. My mind was racing, all sorts of crazy ideas popping in. So whatever, it made it must watch. I'm glad they didn't wait till the main event because that would have been bad. I liked what they did in the main event, and we can transition a little bit there with Roman and Joe and Braun coming out and killing them both. Joe's going to want some revenge there, and that puts him in that storyline at least for a couple of weeks. So it's a good way to expand it, a good little way to make it a little bit fresher, and it's definitely going to be intriguing to see where they go with it for SummerSlam. Do they have 2 singles matches? Do they have a fatal 4-way? Where do they end up here, do you think?
So, just to piggyback off what you were saying, it's really great that they didn't do the Angle thing in the main event, because now you're creating a situation where if something like this comes up again, I don't know when I have to tune in to watch it. Right? So I have to watch the whole thing.
Right.
And that's smart.
Once I figured out that Roman Joe had to be the main event, I was like, oh, okay, 10 o'clock hour. Like, that's just when it's going to happen.
Oh, and so in terms of like who I think is what's going to happen with the matches, I mean, there's a part of me that thinks it might go to a 4-way.
I can easily see it based off of what they did on Monday, but I don't know if what they did on Monday is going to be the end result. This could set up something with Braun and Joe down the line, or you know what I mean? I'm not really sure because like Joe Brock 2 should really happen at SummerSlam. Braun Roman in some type of loser dies match should happen at SummerSlam. Like SummerSlam is their second biggest pay-per-view, and these feuds are ready to come to an end or to a climax. I really think that it should be 2 singles matches.
No, you're right. The only reason I think about the 4-way is, well, also I think
because of what they did.
Because of what they did, and also then it makes it easy for you to take the belt off Brock, right?
Right. He doesn't have, but like, I don't think you need to make it easy to take the belt off Brock. Like, Joe just had him beat. You know what I mean? I think you've primed Joe to just be that guy. I don't think Brock needs to not get pinned or not submit or whatever the case.
Okay. That's a fair point.
It would be cool if he loses that match, but I wouldn't see him taking that fall in the 4-way for, like you said.
I also forget that although SummerSlam's the next pay-per-view, it's a while away.
Right. There's a
So
long time to go.
yeah, so they're definitely going to be building something. I don't know. I will say that overall, I feel like sometimes in the summer months I'm not super excited. Right now, I'm pretty amped, and I'm kind of really looking forward to SummerSlam, no matter how it shapes up. Or
Well, right. Of course, SummerSlam is always fun, and it's the way it's starting to shape up, or some seeds that they're planting, whether it be Ambrose and Rollins. I'm because of the injury or cut suffered on his head. I'm a little more interested in Elias Sampson and Finn Balor. I think it makes it a little more intense when the guy gets busted open.
yeah, I wonder that was pretty cool. I'm actually
I think we'll be done with guitar shots. So.
Yeah, but that was it was funny to see a guitar shot again, and I'm starting to like Samson.
Yeah, I mean, on NXT he was just kind of he was literally a drifter. He went from character to character, never really found it. But this character has been interesting since he's been on NXT. It's been one of those things where you're like, yeah, where the hell are they going with this? And having him wrestle Balor and having him have this vicious side is a nice sign. It's a nice spot for him to put him in, as his first big program.
I'm having a blank on what Bray did. He was on the screen, right?
Yeah, he just talked shit to Balor, so I guess that's probably SummerSlam. See, that to me is a super ill SummerSlam match. Bray versus the returning demon, and I think that's a nice mix for a SummerSlam match.
I'm very excited right now, by the way, that I'm having apparently the landscapers are outside. So
yes, I heard. I was wondering what that buzzing sound was.
Oh, this is fantastic. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see the Revival sign before they went out with the Hardys? Forever the Revival.
Right, because did you see what Nick blamed his passport and stuff being stolen on the Revival?
Yeah.
And then I think Dawson or Dash, whichever one, posted I have a passport and something for sale, a new backpack for sale, Forever the Revival. So again, social media makes this stuff possible, and it makes it amazing, because one day, hopefully, these guys will wrestle, and it's going to be cool.
Oh, man.
Just because of all of it. The fact that Cody won the belt and in the ring said, fuck the Revival with his title. It doesn't get better than that.
You know what? Social media now is like when I used to buy the pro wrestling magazines, like PW Insider or whatever it was. And I remember thinking, everything I read here is real. Because they would have articles, and they would have the rankings of guys and things like that.
Yeah.
And my dad used to buy me tons of those. And Joe, those always made me feel like this is real. It was weird, even though I thought at that point I had kind of known that wrestling was a little predetermined. I was still confused about how it was predetermined. I remember asking my dad, I was like, "Hey, during commercial breaks, do they just?" I thought they stopped wrestling, and I was like, "The fans just know this? They're cool with it?" And he didn't have any answers because he didn't know. I mean, he was a logical adult, but he just didn't know for sure what happened. So WWE Magazine, I always thought was, it's generated by them. But this was hard-hitting stuff. When I see stuff on social media, when the Revival and the Young Bucks doing stuff, if you were a kid and you were seeing this, you're like, wow.
See, that's where I was just gonna interrupt you. It boggles my mind that adults and fans do not they think there's a legitimate beef. If there was a legitimate beef, I really don't think they would actually be doing all of this promotion for each other and talking about how good each other is. That's where this all stems from, is like a battle for who's the best tag team. And obviously there's enough respect between them that they're doing this whole stuff on social media and on being the elite and all of that. And it's not a one-sided thing. The Revival, has their retorts. So people have got to realize this is all a work. This is all just friends or colleagues who respect each other, and want to work together, doing some business. So just get over yourselves in that.
And the what's it called? Then that reminds me that I forget their names. One of the Revival posted a picture of him and Arn Anderson and said that Arn Anderson's actually his father.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
So just great stuff. So I mean, overall, what else on Raw? You had
WWE listened to me because last week I complained and ranted about Big Show killing Cass, and this week they did a great job of having Cass fight back, overcome Big Show, dominate Big Show, take out Enzo, and they did a great job of establishing him again. Again, yes, overreaction to 1 week thing, but I still feel that it makes him look very bad doing that the first week,
I refuse to call both of them big, so I'm just going to call them Cass versus Show. No, but that worked well. And it was smart. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they did it that way. I don't know why they did it the way they did last week, only to do this week, but...
Right, this should have been last week. And then if you want to have him run away, I already got you, I don't need to fight you, and then he can run away. That makes so much more sense.
Preaching to the choir, man. That I think I agree with you there.
Well, I'm just preaching because, obviously, WWE listens to this, so I want them to hear it, so they do.
And thank you to all the new fans. We got a bunch of extra listens last week after our interview with Flip Gordon, so really appreciate you guys hopping aboard. Make sure that you guys are subscribing and rate and review. It takes a couple seconds, but it really helps us out. Anyway, back to the show. Then you had Gallagher, Mustafa defeated Kendrick and Gulak. I just like Gulak's look.
There was nothing else on Raw that we need to. Yeah, I mean, it's nice seeing Gulak, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Like, I don't know. Like, is he ever going to be the Cruiserweight champion? Like, is he ever going to be on Raw, or is he just going to be this guy who has a nice little role on a Cruiserweight show, and then maybe he becomes a trainer or something like that, or does he just go back to the Indies like Aries?
True. Oh, by the way, Aries, did you see Aries' new Pitbull look?
No, I didn't.
He completely shaved his head and shaved his facial hair.
Well,
which, both of us can agree.
It'll probably be like it's probably like a 90-day thing. Like, he's probably just going to grow it back by the time he wrestles.
But he's rocking. So he's got no hair on his head other than his eyebrows, and he was wearing aviators. So people were just talking about how he's like Pitbull's twin right now. It's kind of ridiculous.
That's funny.
All right, so we won't cover everything in SmackDown. We'll just talk about the Battleground matches and address what happened on SmackDown along the way. So Battleground, you have a 5-way elimination match to figure out Naomi's opponent at SummerSlam. Now, I just want to be very clear, WWE, and we talked about this, and you kind of explained it, but I'm still a little bitter and stubborn. Naomi forfeited the title because she couldn't defend it, right? Mm-hmm. Hearkening to the idea of the 30-day rule. Mm-hmm. Then, Brock Lesnar does not defend the belt every 30 days. But
he's able to.
But see, that's such bullshit. Jack Tunney would not let this fucking shit slide. And now,
if Brock Lesnar is called upon, he can and will defend it, correct? But if Naomi was called upon, she could not actually defend it.
But that would be like if the Mets won the World Series and then the next year, like, oh, you know what, they don't have to defend it. Well, it doesn't work that way with baseball. And you're looking at me like that because you're looking at me like that also because you're saying the Mets win the World Series, and I'm like,
no, I mean, actually, no, but that's a funny thought.
I I've said many times that once the Mets win the World Series, I just need to see the Mets win the World Series and the Jets win a Super Bowl, and I could die. And my wife said, "I don't want you to die soon." And I was like, "What are you fucking talking about? No. Don't worry. The last time those either of the, like it's so
I got a long life ahead of me. Don't worry."
Especially because it's both of those teams, so either of those teams could just go and pull Cubs and just never win again. And wouldn't be shocking. Unless, of course, the Patriots decide to move to another division somehow. But we're never going to do that. But anyway, so we have a fatal... it's a 5-way elimination match, which I really...
Oh, nice.
I really like so much more. And it's something that I saw, like, they're doing it more. It's something that ECW did more than WWE did. I don't like a triple threat or a fatal 4-way or a 5-way.
But you have to look at it this way. In an elimination match, somebody's losing first and probably decently quick, or there's going to be, a pinfall, then another one, and then a long match. So, like, that element also plays into, all right, just have one person get pinned, this guy has an excuse, that sort of thing that carries on. Like, I was talking to my friend today, and, we were talking about booking and that sort of thing, and just, like, I get it. Like, writing the show is extremely difficult, and we got to think about in their minds, like they're planning like 10 years. Not that they're planning things out, but Ambrose is going to be there for a long time. So like you can't burn through heel face or all these matchups so quickly, and I guess that's something that we as fans just have to take into mind a little bit more.
Yeah, no, that's true. Who do you think comes? Well, yeah. Who do you think comes out here winning?
There's really only one answer to me, because it's SummerSlam. Because Naomi's kind of been calling for it. It has to be Charlotte. And losing to Becky on SmackDown didn't do anything to curb my thought on that one. So I'm gonna stick with Charlotte, and I think she gets the win, and she maybe beats Naomi at SummerSlam.
Face Charlotte versus face Naomi?
Yeah. Who else? I don't want to see Natty.
No.
Tamina would make sense, but, like, I don't know that I really want to see that.
Me neither.
And because if you have face versus face, right, then you always have that possibility of Carmella.
Okay. All right, fair. No, then you've completely, because I was gonna pick Tamina, just because in terms of heel face, right, it makes the most sense. But with the threat of Carmella, but Carmella's only a threat on SmackDown. Oh wait, this is a SmackDown specific. All right, so yeah, I think I'll agree with you. I'll go with Charlotte.
Yeah.
All right, so man, I've got the baby. I've got these guys outside. My life is grand. All right. The next match I see as I'm scrolling up, AJ versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, I guess AJ wins because it's too soon for him to lose. Okay. The tease of him and Shinsuke is just amazing, because I badly want to see these guys wrestle. So every time that it's teased as a future big deal, it gets me more and more hyped. And on SmackDown, Shinsuke walked into the locker room, pointed at the U.S. title, said, "One day, you call, I answer." And so, yep, okay, I can't wait. Please. So, I don't know. Hopefully, I wouldn't mind them wrestling for the U.S. title, whatever, but hopefully it's just a world title match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I don't understand taking the belt off of Owens. What are you doing with him now?
I don't know. And I think either way, AJ was going to get the win, and then they probably just pushed it up to the Garden to pop the house show, do it at the Garden, whatever the case. But I really don't know. SmackDown is a crowded place at the top with heels right now, with Jinder and Corbin in the wings. It's tough for Owens to find the spot, but I don't know. Who is an open babyface on SmackDown for him to feud with. He semi-feuded with Shinsuke, right? Like right away. He has this stuff going with AJ. Him and Sammy do not need to fight again. I mean, I wouldn't mind, but you can't just keep going back to that every time. And Sammy is with Mike Bennett, which we got a little taste of on SmackDown as well, which we'll get to. But yeah, who's there for him to feud with? Gable?
Wow, that's not a bad idea at all.
They have a little beef, right? So I mean, that could be. They have some history. They could go with that for the first singles feud for Gable.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I completely agree with that.
Huh? When I said it, it felt pretty good. So
yeah, no,
we'll see.
So we both pick AJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
But don't mind watching this match. It should be fantastic. No qualms here. Whoever wins.
Shinsuke Corbin, you first.
Really? Clearly. Is it so clearly? I don't know. I guess I'm going to go Shinsuke, but it's probably should be Corbin.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. By the way, I had you go first because I'm battling this darn thing and I can't get away from it. I'm going to go with... This is tough.
It is. You know, on one hand you have a big star in Shinsuke, and on the other you have someone you're building up to be that big star and Mr. Money in the Bank, Baron Corbin.
So I'm going to actually say Corbin loses because he's got the briefcase.
Right.
He doesn't need to win
That's
this
what they
match.
do with the people with the briefcase. They just always have that in their mind. Like, well, if we make them lose, then people aren't going to expect them to win. But we know the formula, guys.
I just don't get when Corbin cashes in.
I mean, maybe Orton wins the Punjabi prison. Like, I don't know. Maybe he cashes in right there. We'll get to that. Save that disgust for down the line.
Can't even think about that. All right, the tag team champions, the Usos, defending against the New Day. I don't know. I kind of feel like the Usos keep it. I don't think this is over yet. I think this is you want to wait till SummerSlam for. You can't have every title change at SummerSlam, though. So I don't know.
This is something that we do a lot. Where and I'll even do it in the video game. Like everything happens at SummerSlam or WrestleMania or Survivor Series. You know, like that can't be. There has to be a reason for people to tune into these shows. But I'm with you. I don't know. The Usos are fucking great right now, and I don't want to see them without the titles. I like what they're doing. I'm loving this feud, and I mean it still is new, right? So they could definitely push it till SummerSlam and give New Day the win there or something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm complete agreement. All right, so easy match to pick. Rusev defeats John Cena in a flag match in the United States.
You know, our friend John today was like, you know, I really can't get behind like Cena's promo, and I was like, yeah, because America is not going to lose, and neither is Cena. So that combination is impossible. It's a waste of Rusev. The guy just came back, and yeah, okay, it's a good spot to be in to face John Cena, but he's going to get destroyed, and then what?
The other thing is
there any fucking way he wins? Like,
Rusev wins via the accolade, making John Cena give up, even though
he
that's
has
not
to
how
grab
they
the
win.
flag.
He's got to grab the flag. No, so he puts him in the accolade first.
He grabs with the flag.
Cena, forgetting it's a flag match, taps out so that everyone sees him give up, and then Rusev drags him across the line with the flag.
This, you know, I just had a great idea where like Cena wins, and then Rusev puts him in the accolade with the flag, right? But that's not going to happen. What's going to happen here is John Cena's going to win. He's going to be in the middle of the ring waving the American flag, and we're all going to move on.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not sure if I'm angry about it.
I'm only angry because I really like Rusev.
No, he's very handsome, but I think
I like the new haircut. He's really good. Like, he deserves better than this. But I don't know. Like, is it the worst
but
spot to be in?
Yeah, losing to John Cena.
It's just
in a
because he
flag
came
match?
back.
Yeah,
it's just because he just came back. That's where I'm really at.
Yeah, but I think this brings. I think your love of Rusev is not like other people really love Rusev, right? And I think that a lot of times when a guy returns, even fans who kind of would have normally booed him before would kind of cheer him a little bit and pop for him. So this is a good program to make him important, and then to remind everyone, hey, this is a bad guy. We don't want you cheering for him.
If you take anybody, and I mean anybody, and put them in the ring on July 4th, and have Rusev come out and interrupt and beat him up and wave the Bulgarian flag, he's going to get booed, and that person is going to get cheered regardless. So I think it didn't need to be Cena. Like, Rusev could have a shot in this flag match. He could win and taunt everyone, but that's not what's going to happen because it's Cena.
Yeah, but okay, when he did this American angle, and you had Swagger, and you had Mark Henry, right? They basically put guys in there that he was going to beat because I don't know.
But how long ago was that?
But you're not going to have America lose. America will always, in the end, win.
Right, but if he was facing... well, let's just use Gable for an example. Like, if he was facing Chad Gable, and he could win that match and hold his flag up and taunt everyone, that would make him a monster heel.
Oh, but it's America.
I get it.
Like Slaughter did that.
I'm gonna root for John Cena because I want America to win. Like that's where they put us.
I kind of want Bulgaria to win. No.
Well, then you can get the fuck out of here, all right?
No, but so I guess we could both agree Cena goes over, and then
without a fucking chance in hell.
The match I might be most excited for. No,
I'm assuming because it happened on Smackdown, it's not going to happen on the pay-per-view. Sami Zayn and Mike Kanellis, I'm sorry. So we can just talk about that before we...
FTK. Fuck the Kanellises. This is such bullshit.
I mean,
she was not even slightly on the apron. I mean,
she was concerned for her husband's well-being, and she really thought he was injured, and that Sami Zayn is a vicious person, and maybe he was going to hurt him, and so I respect that. I greatly respect that love and passion that they have.
I think that if she obviously does not believe her husband is a good enough wrestler to be able to beat Sami Zayn, so she had to interfere.
What was the result?
Kanellis won because of her interference.
No. What does it say in the record books?
Okay. All right. So this is what we're doing. Fine.
I'm just curious.
It says Kanellis won.
Okay.
Quick trivia question. What are the names of the Mahal brothers? Not the Mahal brothers. The
Gurv and Harv Shira?
No. It's actually, those aren't their names. Now their names are Samir and Sunil.
Right. That was their actual, when they were the Bollywood boys.
Yes. I found that, I realized that I would have never guessed either of those names.
Yeah, I mean, I should have waited for you to finish the question because you would have said Singh, and then I would have known that it wasn't Singh. It wasn't Samira or whatever anymore.
It's
Shira.
It's
here's a trivia question for you. Where are Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers actually from?
Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I knew.
That's just hilarious to me. Oh, all these guys who are, yes, of course, whatever descent, heritage, whatever background, but they're logistically from Canada. So that's just a funny thing to me.
Yeah, well, it's just I wonder if Scott Hall is even half Cuban. Even half.
That's not the point.
No, I know. It is weird. Well, no, because I thought he was Cuban forever, and then I was very upset when I found out he wasn't. I thought he was.
But he wasn't going out there like, Cuba is the best. I love being Cuban. He was just a Cuban guy. He didn't really,
He was Scarface.
Right, exactly. He was Scarface, but he didn't really sell or drive home the fact that he was a Cuban or a proud Cuban. He was just a Cuban guy.
Fair.
Just how he looked.
All right. WWE does have weird things where Carlito is obviously Puerto Rican, but he's Caribbean, from the Caribbean. What the fuck is that?
At least that way they don't really have to say where he's from. He's just from an area.
He's European. Like that's It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So
so back to the match. The Power of Love was victorious. I enjoyed this match. I'm really looking forward to more of the program, and I like how they're setting up the Canellises. I like Sami Zayn in this spot, and I'm definitely looking forward to where they go.
No, I'm looking forward to it 100%. I, of course, want Sami to win, but I'm still really looking forward to it.
It was really cool. I liked his. I liked Canellis' tights, and I thought it was just really cool to see him, in a WWE ring.
Oh yeah. No, it is really cool to see him and Maria there. I don't like what they're doing to Sami, but if they were doing it to anybody else, it'd be fine.
Right. It would be awesome. But it's funny. It was obvious, but I said weeks ago they could just be Miz and Maurice, and right off the bat, I think we kind of got a taste of that with how she interfered and assisted the victory.
Terrible. All right, that was really. We've spoken about most of what happened on SmackDown through the matches, so that just leaves us with the main event, and it's going to be Jinder Mahal defending against Randy Orton in the Punjabi prison. I love that they brought the Punjabi prison to SmackDown Live. I think it was like, hey, just in case you haven't Googled what it looked like and you don't like our still images, here's what it looks like in person.
And I think it was also a way to, let's set this up. Let's make sure everything is good. Let's make sure it can hang up here and blah, blah, blah. And also to give you the rundown, to tell you the rules, tell you how it works, tell you how it's operated, so that they don't have to spend 30 minutes on the pay-per-view doing that.
And what is it? Hopefully. There are two... All right, they have to escape two cages?
So there's four...
Oh, four.
Yeah, there's four doors, two cages, but there's four little, sliding doors on the bottom. And I forgot this until they mentioned it on SmackDown, obviously. But, so I tell you to open door number one. You open it. I don't escape in 60 seconds. That door closes forever. So I forgot about that little wrinkle. I like that once that door is closed, that you can't open it again. So it adds a little element of drama, to escaping that first cage. And then the second one, you got to climb out of it. So it's an awesome, like you said, it's an awesome visual. I can't wait to see it. Jinder Mahal has been fantastic, and I can't wait to see him in this match. And hopefully WWE does the right thing and he gets the win. I'm not too confident, though, because selling that he beat Randy in his hometown in front of his father on Father's Day, now they're in Jinder's match that he should be the easy victor in. It's a bad setup.
I'll be so upset if Randy Orton wins.
It would really suck. If Corbin cashes in, I won't mind as much, but it will still suck.
Corbin can't.
For Jinder.
How's Corbin going to cash? See, here's my thing. So wait, do they raise the cage right after the match?
Yeah, sure. Or Corbin just
goes over two cages?
Throws him through the cage or something.
Because how awkward does that look when you're carrying the briefcase and you're trying to get over two cages? How do you get the referee to follow you?
They're going to lift it up right away. They usually do with the Hell in a Cell or whatever.
Okay.
They usually lift it up right away, and then the guy celebrates in the ring. So they'll have a chance if they want it.
It just feels wrong for Jinder to lose to Punjabi. We know he's Canadian. So I mean, maybe it'd be worse if it was a Canadian igloo match, but
it's such a good throwback to have these, proud countrymen or proud, these guys with this proud heritage. And it's awesome to see that. And, when they have things like the Punjabi prison to back up, where this guy's from or to make it seem dangerous, it really, really helps. And it's done nothing but make Jinder seem like a bigger deal to me. And I really, really hope they do the right thing. And he retains, he wins this match somehow. But like I said, I'm really not confident.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I'm gonna say Jinder.
I'll be wearing my modern day Maharaja shirt in support.
Okay, that's going a little too far, but good for you.
It's an awesome shirt.
I don't know if
very nice.
I don't know if I could find myself wearing that.
No. Well, see, that's the problem. I find these guys and I support them, and you don't do these things.
Did you? So just a couple, I guess, notes.
Oh, spoiler alert! I also this Saturday, I believe, I have the Wrestle Crate coming in the mail, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what comes in that.
Oh, I hope you get something you don't like.
Well, so Marty Scurll posted on Instagram those little micro figures that they have.
Yeah.
That he has a micro brawler exclusive coming in the crate, and I was like, okay, yep, that's worth my $25. Just that. So, I get a T-shirt and something else. Yeah, cool. Let's just give this a go. So, I did it just for that.
That's one of those things where I would love to get it as a gift,
right?
But I just won't buy it for myself.
Correct.
I have.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible when it comes in the mail and it literally says Wrestle Crate on the box and shit.
Yeah, I got what's it called, Loot Crate for for a while, and that was a gift, and then even my ridiculous Wolverine jacket was a gift.
I'm not a fan of enough fan of comic books and that kind of thing for Loot Crate to work out for me.
Honestly, it didn't work out for me either that much.
Right, and that's saying something.
So most of the stuff was even ridiculous for me. So I was like, I'm not going to use Freddy Krueger sushi. What's it called? Chopsticks. Like they were Freddy Krueger awesome. Metal chopsticks. Well, I hate Freddy Krueger, so F him. But
there you go.
My Thanos Infinity Gauntlet oven mitt is great. I do wish it was two of them because I wish it was a set. I do get that the gauntlet was one hand, but really. Now I feel like at a disadvantage when I'm going to take stuff out because I'll use two different gloves, but I don't care. Anyway, no, Wrestle Crate is something that I'm even considering getting for myself. It's like almost like I want someone to give me the first couple of months, and then I'll buy the rest.
Right. Well, we're going to have a trial run here, so we'll get to see. I'm pretty excited for the figure. Pro Wrestling Tees supplies the shirt, so hopefully it's like... My whole thing is what kind of shirt could they put in a subscription box that I'm not going to appreciate? I don't think there's anyone. Like, they could put a legend, they could put somebody on the indies, they could put literally anything.
What if it's somebody and no names? I don't want to do this now. What if it's somebody in the indies you really don't like?
There's, I think, one person that I would be very, very upset with, and we were just discussing this dastardly person earlier. So I would send back Wrestle Crate. Like I would return it with just the shirt in there. Like I don't want this. You guys can keep it. I don't even want it in my presence. So that would be pretty funny. This
is like the Kurt Angle reveal where we could build this up for weeks before, but we'll never reveal. But no, I agree with you. So I'm excited to hear about it, to be honest. A couple news and notes. Ring of Honor still in a little bit of a lull. Not a lull, but they're not doing anything. Like they did a TV taping right after Best in the World on June 24th. And basically they have television tape through their next taping is the 29th. They don't have any pay-per-views. They're going to have an iPay-per-view in August. So they started to make some announcements about the iPay-per-view. Cody's going to defend against Sanada, which I think is...
Yeah.
It's going to be a good match, and I've been talking to a couple people about this. but right now, I don't see why that's particularly...
Right. Sanada is cool. He's very good, but it's not a championship match that I want to see in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, well, the one thing I will say is at least, like, there's going to be one night where Los Ingobernables de Japón...
Every night, Cody is teaming with Skrull. I was like, oh, well, that's the ultimate, these guys are baby faces move.
It's really weird, but you know what the thing is? If you watch it on TV, like I watched last week's episode, Cody comes out and everyone's chanting, "You deserve it," and he's over as a babyface, even though he's talking about, he's like, "I'm a free agent, I can defend this wherever I want," and he has been. You know, I mean, they're not.
It's the whole Bullet Club thing. You know, they're just over.
It's crazy.
It's stone cold. Like, they can't be bad. It doesn't matter what they do. In New Japan, they're kind of in the same place. Omega gets cheered all the time. It's just a respect thing. It's just these guys are cool. These guys are awesome thing. So it is what it is, and it's good that Ring of Honor is kind of embracing it or going with it as much as they can. You know, I'm sure they'll try to turn the tide some way if they really want to, and I'm sure they'll figure out how.
And I mean, you had some Cheeseburger Ferraro stuff basically from a tag match come out. It was weird because these two female fans were like obsessed with Cheeseburger, and he walked in, and then when he's leaving, they hop the barricade and like swarm him. So then security comes down to like take them away, which hilariously security brings them up the ramp to escort them out. And I'm just laughing. I love the idea that you actually get to get closer to the wrestlers' locker room to get kicked out.
We're going to bring you backstage now.
And then what happens is one of the security guards ends up being Ferrara. This sounds weird, but it's almost like he's a little smaller, right? And all he did was like take the hat off and the glasses that he was wearing or something, and he still had the security shirt on. So I just feel like if it would have been done mid-ring, it would have gotten a little bit more of a pop, because I just think it was difficult to see in the aisle.
Companies love doing things on the aisle and the ramp now. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about how many people didn't clearly see what was happening before it was over.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't get that heat right there, where I think it would have been, if it was in a easier area to view, was my biggest complaint. But I was happy that Johnathan Gresham's got some new threads. He's rocking some long tights now instead of just the trunks, and he had a fun match with Punishment Martinez. I mean, super David and Goliath, like super, right?
Right.
But if you watch it, and I actually recommend going to check this episode out just because of this match for me. It made it really believable. He was just doing like a lot of like arm drag stuff and things like that, and then like attacking the leg, and Martinez sold the leg well. So it didn't feel like one of those matches where, you know, sometimes when like Ray was world champion, I felt those matches were kind of ridiculous. Like he dominated for too long with too many ridiculous moves.
Right.
I thought this was
speaking of
really well done.
Ray and Marty Scurll, they're going to be wrestling each other, so that's pretty cool.
So somebody, I think Conan posted a picture of him, Rey Mysterio, and somebody else, and Ray's not masked, and people were like,
he posted it with someone from WWE. I can't remember who.
Yeah.
Oh, Archery.
Yeah. And then somebody posted.
And James Storm and Bray Wyatt were hanging out, which is just the most perfect combination of people ever.
Well, a couple weeks back, there was stuff online about, what's his name, Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt at a Metallica concert. So I think that's pretty dope.
No shit.
It's great.
So, you know, I thought about this while you were talking about the Ring of Honor TV stuff and how it's taped forever and all that. Have you read the G1 Climax or the G1 Day 1 report?
Yeah.
Or the results? Okay, so, you know, reading the results really just like it ruins everything to me. Like I read, I'm an idiot, and I knew that Omega, like I knew that the B block was first or whatever. I knew it wasn't the Omega Okada block, so I knew, like, I was like, oh well, if I could read the results and it's not going to matter. And then I started reading the results and I was like, Saber Tanahashi, mother of fuck, and Naito Ibushi. Just like, damn it, I ruined both of these matches that were awesome. So, it really sucked watching them. Like, I didn't even care to watch. I knew who was going to win, and that, if you know who's going to win in a predetermined sport, it really takes the fun out of the match. It really sucks.
I've told you 1,000 times my biggest issue with New Japan is that I read the results. I don't stay up and watch it ever.
Right, but if the show was at 5 o'clock in the morning, like, I get it, your schedule isn't as open, but it's easy to find time if you watch it that day without being spoiled,
Okay, fair.
If I can go 2-3 months or literally a year without finding the PWG results or most of the PWG results, I'm pretty sure I know the big thing you were talking about last week, but I'm just going to keep putting it out of my mind till I see it. And even if I see it, it's still going to be freaking awesome. So, I don't care.
You know what's really amazing is watching CMLL, not knowing... So
why? Okay, so yes, please hold on. Okay. Before you really get into this, I need to know why. Because, there's the New Japan stuff going on. There's NXT. There's, I have 14 PWG Blu-rays. There's the Kevin Owens documentary I recommended. There's a million different things that you could and should be watching. Yet, you choose CMLL.
Okay. So, a couple of reasons. First off...
One, you love being Spanish.
Well, yeah. Look, first and foremost, all jokes aside, I want to learn more Spanish wrestling lingo. Okay?
So...
No, seriously.
Hold on. No, I'm laughing because I thought you were going to say, like, you want to... You mentioned earlier how you want to keep your Spanish fresh and all that. So I thought you were just going to say you wanted to, brush up on your Spanish, and I was going to throw in, you just wanted to learn how to say elbow drop and, whatever.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
but
legitimate.
Then you said it for me.
I want to be able to, wrestle Charlie and say...
You have so many things in common with Kevin Owens, He learned English from Jim Ross. He also... You also have turned family members, best friends against each other. You've backstabbed your way to the top, and I think it's about time you recognize this. You liked one of his tweets the other day I saw, so I'm glad to see you're coming around.
No, but I started following.
Nothing, no, just a laugh.
I'm ignoring that. I disagree. I did like one of his tweets, and I'm upset that you realized that because
I got an email that said Rich liked Kevin Owens' tweet, and I was like, "What the?" How you get those emails with the news, and that was it. It was Rich liked Kevin Owens' tweet, so I was like, "Oh, I got to check out what he said so that I can mention this on the podcast." So thank you.
It's fucking terrible. Because
thank you, Twitter.
I don't get those emails anymore. I turned that off, but I
wish I knew how to turn it off. I definitely would. But
when I liked it, I was scared that you would go through your timeline and it would pop up as Rich Lacconi liked this, and then sure enough, you actually get a fucking direct email.
And that was sometimes it'll be other things you may like, but this time it was just Rich liked Kevin Owens' tweet, so it was pretty awesome.
Sons of bitches.
They know. They just knew.
But
I was really hoping he said something about Sami Zayn, so it was even better, but that wasn't the case.
No, I would never. I've seen him say so. It was something about him getting something like him and Matt Jackson were talking about getting their nipples pierced, and Matt Jackson said it, and then Kevin Owens was like, "Well, I didn't tell you to do it right away, bro." So I thought that was kind of funny.
I might have to do this.
So I thought that was kind of funny. That's all. Hold on, before we forget, I just wanted to wrap up. They had Jay Briscoe on Ring of Honor kind of...
I thought you were going to talk about Jay Briscoe on CMLL. I was like, wow.
No.
That's a strange pairing.
Just before I forget, though, I just wanted to say that...
No, yeah, go ahead.
So Jay's been kind of turning, he's angry. Now Mark flipped out at the end of their match. And actually,
the Briscoes are so much better as heels.
And especially now with Bucks being cheered. I mean, Marty Scurll came out, cracked his umbrella over Jay's back, and there's the Bullet Club's still getting cheered. So, so I think that's good. But the CMLL, I follow them on Twitter. So what happened was I can easily now with the YouTube app. I have the YouTube app on.
Do you follow PWG on Twitter?
Yeah, but I don't.
Okay. No, it was just a comparison point.
Can you
wanted to see?
Can you go to PWG randomly on a Tuesday night on YouTube and just watch it live for free? Because that's part of why I watch CMLL. Like I literally.
Can you buy a CMLL Blu-ray?
I wouldn't buy one. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm just saying, I spend a lot of money on wrestling. Once in a while, if I can catch something for free, and I've been starting to watch even Being the Elite, or I'll just put something random on YouTube.
Watch Being the Elite. Watch.
I do.
I don't know. Go watch something on High Spots. CMLL.
But it's also learning the Spanish, right? So
I guess. Learn Japanese. I don't.
Okay, let's not be ridiculous. Okay, I speak Spanish.
Let's also just clarify this. I also seriously considered taking Japanese in college if I have to take a language course, just because I watch Japanese wrestling.
That's amazing. No,
that may be a thing.
The wrestling. Obviously, I grew up speaking Spanish, so that's going to be an easy one for me. I just want to I'm interested to say they call it El Ring. They don't translate it, and they don't have it's just El Ring. So some of it's like that. By the way. And the best part
that would annoy me, when it's La Lakers. That annoys me.
They have
El Ring would.
Dude, they have random swear. First of all, one of my favorite things is every song they come out to is an American song. All right.
I really thought it would be some crazy piñata type music or something like that.
I'm pretty sure Ultimate Guerrero came out to We Will Rock You. Okay, it's like their big guys are coming out. Just absolutely ridiculous. There's the fact that they just have 4 women every episode who just dance on the ramp, but not like Nitro.
Sounds about right.
But wait, it's not Nitro Girls. We're gonna do a dance number. Sometimes they literally are just. And you can see me, nobody else can, but they're just kind of swinging their arms back and forth to the music. Just like this. Just doing this. Just doing that in bikinis.
You gotta stop. That's fantastic.
Because that's what Spanish TV does, right?
I was just gonna say, if anyone's ever watched Telemundo or any of those Spanish game shows and stuff like that, they're absolutely absurd.
And
do they include that kind of stuff in CMLL? Are there I don't know, random buckets of guava juice dropped on them and stuff like that?
They don't do crazy stuff, but they do. Man. And here's, by the way, 100%. They did this live, so I'm watching it, and the camera tends to focus randomly on what I think are white people. Okay, hey,
here's the 3 white people that joined us today.
Basically, I know that I would be focused on, if maybe not. But when I was talking about going to Mexico with my wife, I kept looking for dates for let's stay near this place. She's like, why? I'm like, well,
you cannot venture off to a wrestling show in Mexico.
Whatever.
I don't know that you'll come back.
But there was a very white woman, it seemed, because I could almost read her lips. She was speaking in English, who just flashed the camera. During the middle of the show.
Okay.
On a Tuesday night at CMLL. For no reason. She was getting amped up the whole show.
Just a white woman in Mexico.
Just getting drunk. You could tell she was just getting drunker and drunker. And then at the end, woo! And I just was dying. Just amazing. But the other thing is, I know some of the guys. I don't know a lot of the guys. Right? So...
Is, what's his name wrestle there? Flamita, right? Is that his name?
So I haven't seen him whenever, it was last summer. around maybe a little later than this is when I started. I remember, because I was in Cape Cod. Yeah, Taven was down there. I put it on randomly, to watch it and see Taven, and then I was talking about it, and you were like, "What the hell? What the hell are you doing?"
It's so incredible that like Matt Taven can make you watch CMLL, but like other people can't make you watch like good stuff.
Hashtag I get it. But anyway, so they have like Angel though. It's nice to see it because I also recognize the names. So
Flamita Russell's there before we continue this?
He might.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually.
You just haven't seen him.
Yeah, like I don't.
Okay.
Whenever
you don't. It's not like you're watching CMLL Mania or whatever the hell.
No.
Triple Mania. No, that's AAA.
They are going towards their what's it called?
What is it called?
The Anniversario is their big show, and I think that might be coming up soon. But Flamita he was in AAA.
Oh, AAA.
Yeah, he's in AAA, not CMLL. So
not at all what I pictured him looking like.
No, me neither. No, so it's fun because I don't really know who's going to win, and I'm just kind of rooting for the guys that I know, whether they're... And the other thing is, down there, they literally call them not heels and faces, but it's Technicos, or the good guys, huh? And Rudos. And, so it's like, this is the bad guy team, this is the good guy team. Also, they, at least once, because of like the lucha tag rules also, but, man... Dudes just slide out of the ring all the time. It's like arm drag, and then the way they slide out is like backwards of John Cena sliding in. Like they just slide out that way, like all the time. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I've noticed that on like some of the Lucha Underground when they have a lot of the tag matches, they'll do that a lot, and it's just like, oh, all right, I guess that was it. Like the guy, or like those old WCW when they had the Lucha matches. That's all that would happen. That one guy would jump in, hit a springboard, roll out. Another guy would come. It's just like, what the hell?
And the other thing is, I think you can get DQ'd because your mask comes off.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you ever get demasked, you just lose. Okay.
It's like somebody's was going to pull the guy up, and the mask came off and the match just stopped, and I believe the guy whose mask came off was the one who lost. Like, you're supposed to make sure your mask stays on type thing.
I was going to say, like, maybe they just, like, fucked up and his mask came off and they were like, oh, well, I guess we have to end this match before people... I don't know. Why would they put that on their show then?
It's just really kind of weird. But it's interesting. It's different, and I don't know who's going to win. So sometimes it's fun to watch. I'll see guys that I've heard. I've seen in Ring of Honor. So like Angel de Oro was one guy that I saw in Ring of Honor. El Terrible I saw this week. I saw Ultimo Guerrero. Who else did I see? Pequeño Perrito, which is a guy that I ended up interviewing after a match at Tier 1. So I was like, oh my god, it's that guy, So it's just small things like that, and the Spanish thing, and how it's such a different show. It's so, and everything's like trio, like it's just so ridiculous and over the top that once in a while I'll just throw it on, but I can't even tell you that I'm going to watch it consistently next week.
I sure would really hope not.
I'm not going to tell you.
Like we've discussed a couple of times. There's a lot of other things.
I said it last time and I didn't stick to it, but there's a part of me that wants me to just start to watch it consistently just to piss you off.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'll just start talking about Global Force Wrestling all the time.
I will say,
just have to counter something.
They have like 3-hour shows a week. Just so you know.
Wow.
Just in case you're like, wait a minute, how much of this can Rich really watch? I can't. They have it Fridays, they have it Tuesdays and Sundays, and sometimes Saturday. Like they have so many shows. Like right now, I'm looking at their website. They have a show on Sunday, a show on Saturday, a show on Monday, Tuesday, and then Friday. Like they have like 4 shows a week. Jesus. It's absolutely insane how much they have. So I can't even keep up with it.
I was just going to say, if you find a way to fit in 12 hours of CMLL, we will stop this podcast. There will be no, it will not be one. You can have your own and just talk about all the CMLL you watched, but this will be over.
I hope to God that this ends up happening, because this would be very, very exciting. We'll just have to rebrand it. Corriendo, I don't know, Wild will be our new show name. All right, so I think that's really it for the week.
Well,
right?
We brushed over the New Japan stuff.
Oh yeah.
The Saber Tanahashi match was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and Saber got the win with making Tanahashi submit. And if it wasn't already established in New Japan that the guy gets, if you beat someone in the G1, you usually get a title shot at some point. Saber grabbed the IC title. He held it up. He yelled at Tanahashi. So it's really pretty cool to see Saber in the ring with these Japanese heavyweights. A lot of people complain that he wasn't a heavyweight or this and that, but that guy's amazing. And whether he's a heavyweight or not, he's going to break down the bigger guys and, make them fight at his pace and his level. And he does an amazing job. So that match was really, really good. I really enjoyed watching it. Seeing Saber get the win, like I said, was a great step for him in New Japan.
I haven't been able to go in and see it, and then part of my problem is, of course, that I end up clicking on the results. So, as you spoke about earlier, then that kind of kills it for me. Unless I hear a match is really good. So, I'm going to go watch the Saber match because I heard how good that was. And, I liked his little promo. I ended up seeing one of his promos afterwards where he basically was talking about people didn't think that he could be a heavyweight. He might be slimmer than some of the guys, but that he's proving that he's going to make an impact. So I think that's fantastic.
And it's what sucks is it's so early in the G1, and these things happen early, and then the bigger guys or the bigger stars, I should say, start to take their spot towards the top. But this year it's a pretty open field, and it's going to be it's always exciting, but it's definitely going to be cool to see who comes out of it and where they go. Seeing guys like Omega, Okada, Saber, all those guys have matches with each other throughout this whole thing is really cool. It's such a great concept, such a great idea.
No, I agree. I just, like I said, I'm not consistent, so that's a problem. All right, I think that catches everything. Anything I missed? Yeah. Okay. So, just want to remind you guys that we're available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher. You guys should go over and leave us a review and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, if you guys have just joined us this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the time. We definitely had a good time this week. It felt like we had a little bit more time to discuss things. You guys can follow my wrestling coverage over at pwponderings.com and rohworld.com, as well as Last Word on Pro Wrestling. I mostly cover Ring of Honor stuff with your occasional WWE story mixed in there. You can follow our Twitter over at Running Wild LWOS, and you can follow me specifically over at Rich_Laconi, where I've been tweeting just random things about wrestling. I was very upset the other day because I woke up, I'd been up for about 4 hours, I checked my Twitter, and I checked Luke Harper's Twitter, and I didn't know what day it was. Because he had not posted. He posted apparently very late last night. I was like, I don't know what day it is. And his Twitter is just my favorite ever, because as he just usually just tells you the day of the week, and he goes, you know what that means. So it's just awesome to follow him there. But anyway, with all that out of the way, just want to thank you guys for listening, and remind you guys that you've listened to the podcast that is just too sweet.